Hi everyone, this is Todd with Prepper Website. This is the Prepper Website recap, episode 1, ending in week 9/12/2015. I've done these in the past before, but I called it commentary and stuff, but it really wasn't too much of a commentary. What I want to do is I want to share about 10 articles that I think that you shouldn't miss on Prepper Website. All the articles I think that I link up to are pretty good, are excellent articles in the preparedness community. But I just want to kind of point these out to you, just in case you missed them. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one is over at OffGrid Survival, and it talks a little bit about the power grid and the power grid attacks and how easy it would be to do that, and the fact that we're just we're very close to something like that happening. It's very possible, and it would do a lot of damage. And so it's something to I think a lot of us are already very, very aware of that. Something to keep in mind. Maybe even an article to kind of share out. Definitely would scare a lot of people, but something that we should always keep in the back of our minds and be thinking about the power grid and how that would affect our lives, and making sure that we prepare for that. So again, all these articles are going to be, or the links to these articles are going to be linked to in the description of the video, so you can get to them very easily. All right, moving on to Prepper's Will. This is the Off-Grid Limitations That No One Tells You About is the name of the article, and talk a little bit about some benefits here. So the benefits to off-grid living: you will not have to worry about how you're going to put food on the table. Yes and no. That's if you are doing a good job of gardening and you're doing a good job of you have livestock and all that good stuff. Living off the grid will give you the financial independence that you were always looking for. Yes and no, but I do think that it is definitely a benefit if you're wanting to move towards a simple way of life. In time, you will get a sense of security that other people don't have. Living off the grid means developing a set of skills that are not available for everyone. Definitely, you have to know what you're doing out there. It's not suburban living. Living off the grid will unite a family and create a strong family bond. And I guess that is if you are being purposeful in the way that you're raising your kids. So that definitely can happen. I know that in some of the homesteading blogs that I follow, that seems to be the case. But again, it's it all depends on how purposeful you're being. And then you'll get a sense of accomplishment for living off the grid. And hopefully everybody that, if you choose to do something like that, everyone would be on board with that, and then you would feel a sense of accomplishment. You can get a lot of things done, feel good about that. But there's some limitations, some negative sides to it, right? So the money is the root of all evil. You still need money, even if you have your land and you are gardening. And I don't think anyone can ever be 100% self-sufficient. Even in the days when people were living that agricultural society, they were still they still needed to buy things from other people. And so you're always going to need money, at least as long as the economy and the government is intact. And so that's something to consider. Growing food requires a lot of work. If you're doing gardening and livestock, it's not something that you just kind of set and forget it. You've got to be purposeful about that. I know one of the challenges that a lot of people have when I read the homesteading blogs are that someone taking care of the animals for them while they're gone. Living off the grid requires a certain mind spirit. Definitely, you have a more rugged sense of and determination of doing things. And off the grid living is also about relocating. For a lot of people, I mean, that's one reason why they are moving. They're moving out, into the country versus being in the city. And off the grid living is not a permanent vacation as it looks. I think that's what the challenge that a lot of people finally run into is it looks good. It seems like it would be fun, and you get out there and you're doing all the homesteading stuff, and then eventually it starts to wear on you if it's not something that you're so passionate about, and you're going to make it happen. Off the grid living requires safety measures. Definitely, you're out there by yourself, and pretty far away from police don't stop crime from happening, but they're so far away that they don't respond in a timely manner anyway. but that's something to consider. And off the grid living can't make everyone happy. Off the grid living is a permanent retreat for some. And so I think here what he was talking about is more the how far away it is for some people. I know, like my dad's property, we're far away from the town, and then that town is nothing, right? The town has a gas station and a little convenience store. So we would have to go to the next town to get anything of real service, or a hospital, doctors, a big grocery store, that type of stuff. All right, moving right along over at Modern Survival blog. This is just kind of a good reminder. It's a short article, but why you should not blindly follow the rules during a disaster. And he talks about coming off of the anniversary of September 11th, stories of people who were turned back into the towers, into the buildings, when security guards told them, "Hey, the building is safe and you're good to go," and they wound up going back. And it tells this sad story of let's see, this one here. A third worker called a family member and recorded a final message on the answering machine. "I can't go anywhere because they told us not to move. I have to wait for firefighters." And then they wind up dying. And so the whole idea is, if you feel in your gut that there's something is wrong, just don't blindly listen to people. You need to do what you need to do. And so if that's pushing through security guards or whatever, go ahead and you do whatever you need to do to make sure that you feel safe. Okay, shameless plug for my my personal website. I don't do a lot there, but I did have someone send a guest post, and I thought this was very very interesting. Sheep for the End of the World. And so this was written by the people at Hope Springs Farm in Georgia, and they're talking about the Gulf Coast breed of sheep, and how they are so resilient to so many different things. One of the reasons that a lot of people don't use them for livestock is because of they might be a little bit smaller, and so with natural veterinarian practices, sheep are able to get bigger, and they also had antibiotics and medicine to take care of things. These sheep just are resistant to a lot of things that would hurt other sheep. And another reason one of the other reasons that they discuss in here is that when you have pigs or when you have other livestock, a lot of them are going to depend on grain. And so if you get to a situation where you can't get grain, you can't go to the feed store, you can't get that kind of stuff, sheep can just eat off of grass and stuff, and they're good to go. And so they're kind of like a cow. And what he says that a cow, I think it says you can have 10 sheep per in the same area that you would have one cow. And so that one cow, there's so much meat there, there's so much to do, so much to cut up, all that kind of stuff. So if you and if that one cow dies, then you're out. But having 10 sheep, you can go ahead and you can cull them off and do whatever you need to do. And there's less meat, but you still can feed your family. And so that's a big benefit. So if they've been working with this breed for a while, so if you are interested in it, go ahead and contact them. Their information, the website is here, and then they also have an active Facebook page where they're leaving a bunch of stuff and just communicating with other people. Project Chesapeake. The article was "Safe Assets in a World Gone Mad," and I think it's something just to kind of to be thinking about when we're looking at our economy and where we are right now. He's actually promoting the fact of having things that will last and that will take you through. So hard assets. And when I mean hard assets, I'm not necessarily just talking about gold and silver. I'm talking about things that will help you, tangible things. So I think this last paragraph is one of the most important ones. To get by in the future, people are going to have to learn to be creative once again in order to take care of themselves and their families. The West line has moved, meaning Americans will be forced to live in a smaller economy with a lower standard of living than in the past. If you do not adjust to that now, you will be forced to later under much more difficult circumstances. The assets you preserve during the coming years will determine how well you will live and how well your children will live. Nothing is guaranteed at this point, so the future is entirely on you. And I think that's a really great piece of advice, something to be thinking about. Things that you do right now will be a lot easier than in the future. So go ahead and check that article out. All right, hey, our survivalists that we all love to watch on TV, Creek Stewart did an article for the Art of Manliness on natural camouflage. And so some really good stuff here. I haven't actually seen one of these in a long time. He does the Rambo thing here really well, and he walks you through it. There's a picture here. I'm like, yeah, Creek, what are you doing there? Trying to do the Adam and Eve thing. But he does a real good job here. I mean, it looks really good. I'm hoping that he had some water nearby so he can rinse off. But something to consider. Again, I hope you're doing the leaf thing. Hope you're covered up there, Creek. But anyway, some good stuff there to check out and to read at The Art of Manliness and Natural Camouflage by Creek Stewart. All right. Lonnie over at Far North Bushcraft and Survival made a tent wood stove from a 5-gallon metal can, and he actually walks you through it. It's a really great job. I mean, I thought it was a really neat deal, and it looks pretty simple to make if you're able to work a little bit with your hands. Something that's very, very usable. Let's see here. I want to play it just a little bit. It should pick up there. And this is at the end of the video, but definitely something that you can use. It was very portable, and he carried it around just with one hand. And so anyway, I would love to. I love that scenery, man, out there. Lonnie has definitely envy that. But I would. One day I'm going to speed up Lonnie's voice and I think that would be kind of funny and do that. But he seems like a great guy to be able to just hang out with and talk to. He's got a lot of great advice if you're into the bushcraft scene. One of the things that I think is important if you are in that preparedness community and looking for ways to be self-reliant is to raise rabbits. And it's very easy to do. You can do it in a suburban backyard. There's so many things that the poop is useful for gardening. They're easy to maintain, and so this article is a good starter on how to get going with rabbits. And so I think if you are interested in that, and that would be, again, it's very easy to do. I think I read one time breeding 2 does and a buck and doing it optimally, you get more meat than if you raised a cow to slaughter. So anyway, that's a great article. I think everyone should be raising rabbits or chickens, something to that effect, in your backyard. So I'm going to link to that one. So over at Survival Sherpa, the number one skill of a good woodsman is definitely sleep. And so Todd talks a little bit about the saboteurs of sleep when you're outside, and mosquitoes. He talks a little bit about some natural means and modern means. Of course, you've got your all natural bug shop, and then that's bug dope. And talks a little bit about DEET, talks about the natural herbal plants that will help deter mosquitoes. So when you're sleeping, you can get a good night's rest. Smudge fire. Second saboteur is bedding, and so making sure that you're comfortable when you're sleeping. And let me see here, the third one is heat loss. He does heat loss and talks about shelter and those kinds of things. Here at the end, and I just want to kind of just say this one here. He says here, I've made it a habit to wash my body before going to sleep. I think that's important. I think that's important for you to, make sure that you get a good night's rest and you just feel clean. I think that's very helpful. And so that's something that we do when we go up to the country. And even if it's just, washing off with a little wet rag, like a sponge bath or something like that. And putting on clean underwear and clean t-shirt to sleep in. I think that's definitely beneficial. But you should take a look at this one. Number one skill of a good woodsman is to get a good night's rest. All right, another video, and this is Cedric. I don't know exactly where he's at. Can't remember where he's at, but he made a clay container, and I wanted to just highlight this because he does it all very primitive. So he doesn't use any tools whatsoever. And he starts off, about half of the video is him starting a fire, because you have to have the fire, you have to have the coals to heat up the clay container. And this is actually, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but it's the clay containers right here. I'm going to go ahead and start the video so you can see it. But it's very interesting how he does that. And so wanted to kind of just leave you with that one there.
Wow. I don't see any crack. It's rock hard.
So he does a good job of just kind of walking you through and all the things that he does to make that clay container. Something to take a look at and to watch if you're interested in something like that, or if you ever need to make something like that. That's good to go. All right, so hey, thanks for watching the video, and if you care to, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share. Maybe you might share some of your articles and leave them below in the video. Thanks for watching.